So if you've been thinking of moving to the Middle Georgia area, have you considered Perry, Georgia? Well, living in Perry could be an experience that you might not well forget. We're going to show you everything that you need to know about living in Perry, Georgia, the cost of living in Perry, the traffic in Perry, some of the school systems, and of course some of the neighborhoods, since this is a real estate channel, and show you everything that you need to know so you can decide whether or not moving to Perry is the best option for you, if Perry's safe enough for you, and if it's going to be someplace that you want to make your forever home. So let's get busy. So of course, Perry has always been known for it looking like Smallville, but in the recent years, they have gotten a healthy dose of metropolis. So if you're wanting a town that is growing in size and getting a little bit modernized, but still has that downtown Smallville feel, then you might want to check out Perry. Now, it's easy to find Perry because you just look for Atlanta, Georgia, take I-75 south, and you'll go right past Macon, Georgia, Warner Robins, and then the next couple exit will be Perry. Now, back in before all the growth happened, most of Perry was around 15 to 18,000 people. Now, 2 years ago, the census was 23,000, and then this year it's more like 28,000. Part of that reason is because Warner Robins was dubbed Little Atlanta back in the early 2000s when people were PCSing to Robins Air Force Base. Warner Robins was growing, and the overflow went down into Kathleen and Bon Air. Well, Kathleen and Bon Air is just about filled up, and Perry decided, you know what, we're going to take advantage of this little influx too. So Perry has been going through great lengths to get $50 million worth of state funding to help build up Perry. So you've got a lot more modern conveniences on the outskirts of Perry, but you've still got the southern historical charm of historic downtown Perry. So if you want a little bit of mix of Smallville, Metropolis, there you go. And as Perry's building up, they don't have absolutely everything. So you've got Warner Robins is about 20 minutes away. Macon is about 40 minutes away. And Atlanta is an hour and a half away. So anything that Perry doesn't have, either Warner Robins, Macon, or Atlanta are definitely going to have absolutely everything you can think of. So with all that said, your first question is, well, is Perry, Georgia a safe place to live? Well, as a matter of fact, Perry is actually showing 50% below the national average in their average crime rates. And of course, every town is going to have areas that you don't want to frequent too often. But the fact of the matter is, most of the crime in Perry is simple stuff. Petty larceny, a little theft, domestic disputes, so on and so forth. And honestly, there's not very many places that I wouldn't walk down through Perry without a weapon. So that kind of tells you. And if you want more details about the crime rates, where they are, you can always go to crimerate.org and look at their heat map, and it kind of tells you where the concentrations of bad areas are, what kind of crimes are going on, and where areas to avoid. Now, of course, call me and I can give you more details on the places that you want to buy a house to make sure that you're in a place where your kids are safe and you feel good. And another question that a client asked me a while back is, what is Perry known for? Well, originally there was a kind of a cutesy name, the Crossroads of Georgia, because Highway 41, Highway 341, and Interstate I-75 came right through all of Perry, which kind of dubbed it the Crossroads of Georgia. But what it's really known for is the Georgia National Fairgrounds. Now, back when I moved into Middle Georgia, the Georgia National Fairgrounds had about 15 buildings, and now they're blown up to over 20 buildings. They've got all kinds of events, including the Perry National Fair in October, which is what brings everybody in. But throughout the year, they've got all kinds of events like gun shows, equestrian shows, dog shows. They just had a classic car show this weekend, and the RV show has started coming in. Now, this is a trade show where people who own RVs can come in. They park in the area of the manufacturer that of the RV that they own. And last time they had this, the fairgrounds were wall to wall 30, 40, and 50 foot RVs. I'm talking billions of of recreational vehicles. And it's a trade show. And they come in and they see the newest and latest and greatest and toys and accessories and new RVs and all that stuff. So Perry National Fairgrounds is always booming with some kind of an event that's going on to keep you entertained or find you something that's unusual and not normally in the shopping malls. Another thing that Perry is known for is historic downtown Perry. Now, since the start of Perry's little revitalization project, all the stores in downtown Perry have got regular business hours. They open their doors a little bit longer, and if you like to have a little bit of a party time, they have opened up the historic downtown Perry area for open containers. So you want to go in and grab your cocktail, go do some shopping. You can walk around historic downtown Perry and enjoy yourself, kind of like a little mini street party, anytime after 5 o'clock. And then, of course, Perry is always having some kind of an event going on. We just had the International Festival. Art in the Park should be coming up soon. And if you want to go to visitperry.org, they've got a full list of all the events that downtown Perry is sponsoring or hosting all throughout the year. Now, if all this sounds great and wonderful and you decide you want more information about moving to Perry, Georgia, make sure to reach out to me. My information is right here, and all my links are in the description below. You can book a call with me, and we can talk about a game plan of where you want to move and what kind of house you want to buy. And I've got plenty of information and resources to help you make that decision. So let's get into more detail about, is Perry growing? Well, take a look at last year. And this is the same area this year. This is a small corner of House and Lake Road and the 341 bypass. Last year, it was still dirt and woods. And this year, you've got the gas station, you've got the strip mall, you've got the storage units, you've got the apartments, all in that same corner that used to be dirt last year. And they're starting another project on the corner across the street. So yeah, Highway 341 is building up. This is why in my other videos I was talking about, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking to start a small business, then Perry is trying to get more people in here. So Perry might have some incentives or some project programs that you can use to help you start a business. And Highway 341 has got all kinds of areas where you can start your own business and be your entrepreneur self. Now, the population for Perry has grown by 70% since 2010. Like I said, it was around 23,000 last year or the year before. It's closer to 28,000 this year. So it's steadily building up, partially because of the work that the city of Perry is doing and partially because of the overflow from Warner Robins, Bonaire, and Kathleen. And when I mentioned that they were growing together, well, it's done. Perry is going one direction, Bonaire and Kathleen are coming the other direction, and the gap is pretty much closed up. They're still building plenty of new construction homes all across the north side of Perry, which is meeting into Kathleen now. And for more evidence that Perry is growing, Georgia State in 2025 actually awarded Perry the Visionary City Award, which is recognition for the growth that they've been doing. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos, the city of Perry is pushing to find more people in the IT profession and the medical profession. So if you're a physician or chiropractor, dentistry, or if you're into networking, database, and computer programming, cybersecurity, Perry is definitely going to be interested in you. So give them a call and see what kind of incentives they've got to bring you into Perry, Georgia. All right, Chris, you're talking a big game about moving to Perry, Georgia, but what's the cost of living down there? Am I going to end up breaking the bank, or am I going to be sitting in the lap of luxury? Well, that's an easy answer, because Middle Georgia is below the national average for cost of living. Now, of course, I don't know where you are, so I can't compare apples to apples. But to give you a little bit of an idea, the gas prices right now are around $3.50 to $3.70 a gallon. So hopefully that gives you kind of a little bit of a gauge. Now, the housing median prices right now are sitting right at $300,000, which is up from $280,000 in the last 8 months. So it is climbing. But the reason for that is because the predominant number of houses that are being sold are new construction houses. Now, of course, we've got houses all over Perry that are down in the 100s, 150s, 200s. And of course, you're going to get what you pay for. But since a lot of people are moving into Perry and there's not a lot of people moving out, a lot of the resale houses, the 80s and 90s houses, the historical 1910, 1920s houses, people are staying. So they're not selling those houses and those numbers are not reflecting. So if you're looking for a $300,000 house, that's the median home price. Chances are those numbers are coming from the new construction homes, which are selling. So your next question is, what am I going to get for $300,000? Well, majority of the new construction homes that are selling around $300,000 are 15 to 1900 square foot homes, single and two-story houses. There's a couple builders that are using brick. There's a couple builders that are using a hardboard cement lapboard siding, and some that are still using vinyl siding. These are 3 and 4 bedroom houses. Of course, some of the builders are going up to $500,000 houses like Homes by Jeff, which are all brick 5-bedroom 2-story houses. And most of these properties are sitting between a 1/4 acre to 1/2 acre lots. Now, if you're active duty and you're doing a military relocation to Robins Air Force Base, Perry is only about 20 to 25 minutes away from the base gate. And keep in mind, your BAH could cover pretty much all of your mortgage payment with the price points that we've got on the houses in these areas. So depending on if you're E4, E5, E7, chances are you can find a house in your price point where you don't have to come out of pocket. Your BAH can cover every bit of it. So since we're on that subject, let's go ahead and look at some of the new construction homes that are going up in Perry right now. Now, I already mentioned Homes by Jeff. They are currently working on Saddle Creek Farms off of Saddle Creek Road. Now, these are some gorgeous all brick 4 and 5 bedroom houses, 2 stories, and anywhere from 2,700 to 3,400 square feet. These houses have got the engineered hardwood floors, granite countertops, and Jeff is putting in natural gas cooktop stoves for you culinary specialists who love to cook. Now, the models that Homes by Jeff are producing are sitting around $500,000 to $650,000, depending on the model that you look at. Now, around the corner, Lennar Builders is about halfway through the Orchard subdivision on Kings Chapel Road. Now, these are 1 and 2 story houses, hardyboard cement siding, 3 and 4 bedroom homes, and they're about 1,600 to 2,000 square feet. Now, these beautiful farmhouse style homes are sitting around $300,000 to $350,000. And as you can see, they've got a much more modern feel compared to the Homes by Jeff, which are a little more classic or rustic. Now, if you're looking for a similar home, but you want to be a little bit farther out of town, DR Horton and Dreamfinder Homes are still working on new construction houses in the Preserve at Ag Village subdivision, which is about 1.5 miles away from the Perry National Fairgrounds on the southwest side of Perry. They've got models over there that are 3, 4, and 5 bedroom, 2 to 3.5 bathrooms, anywhere from 1,700 to 2,200 square feet. And they're also running about $250,000 to $350,000. And if you're interested in a house in the Preserve at Ag Village, if you're looking for a swimming pool, but you don't want to take care of the maintenance, the HOAs also include access to the community pool. So there's a little bonus to have a pool without having to deal with the maintenance. And then if you come back into town on the north side a little bit, Calmar Homes is building up Sugar Creek subdivision in their second phase off of Langston Road near Langston Road Elementary. Now, these are all 3-bed, 2-bath houses, 1,600 to 1,800 square feet. And a lot of these have the vertical lapboard siding that would give it that farmhouse look. And these are also sitting around the $300,000 range. So you kind of see the pattern where the median price came from. Now, this is just a sample of the houses that are available in Perry. So if you're interested in any of these, make sure to reach out to me. I know you may want to just bypass and go straight to the builder's representative, but keep in mind, that's the builder's representative. They're not going to offer you nearly as good a deal as you would if you had somebody representing your side. So give me a call. We'll come up with a game plan to work up a offer to get you the most for your money. Now, I know for myself and a lot of my clients, where you buy your house is going to depend on the school districts and what kind of school scores are coming up in the area. So let's talk about the schools. Now, I've got a link in the description below that goes to the Houston County School District map. But to give you a little bit of a summary, pretty much most of Perry is going to be going to Perry High School. A little bit of it might be going to Veterans High School, but there again, that depends on the location of the house that you buy. And if you want to find out more about their scores and their credits and the report card, go to niche.com and they can give you a rundown on how those schools are performing. And then of course the district map also has a link for the middle schools and elementary schools, and then you can research those schools from there. Now, I did have one client ask me something about what is the 183-day rule. Well, I had to do a little bit of research to find this out, but apparently Georgia has a law that if you are in Georgia for more than 183 days, or if you're taking up residence in Georgia for more than 183 days, then you can be subject to the income tax of any money that you produce or any revenue that you gain in the course of doing business or working for somebody else in Georgia. Now, of course, if you're military, you do a military relocation, this obviously doesn't apply to you because you're allowed to keep your residence at your home of record until you leave or separate from active duty. But then once you do, if you're still in Georgia, then the clock starts. Now, one little trick that I will tell you, I did find out that even though you might be active duty and it doesn't apply to you, your spouse or your significant others, it may apply to them because they're not the ones that are active duty. Now, I'm not going to get into the tax ramifications of all this, but if you are moving to Perry and you're interested in finding out these little tax laws, I've got plenty of CPAs in my network I can refer you to, and they can give you the rundown on this 183-day rule. Now, in my other videos, one of the complaints that a lot of people had was the traffic in Perry. So let's talk about the traffic. It's not too difficult to get around the outsides of Perry because the Highway 341 bypass goes right around the outskirts, and it's a pretty easy flowing area. The big trouble was running into historic downtown Perry, where a lot of the state roads and state-owned roads were all converging into Ball Street, Courtney Hodges Boulevard, and it was causing a lot of traffic issues. And the city was having a little bit of a time getting the state to make it a priority to get those areas fixed. Because the state owned those roads, the city and the county did not, so they were kind of hand-tied. Well, apparently they came together on something because the roads are pretty and the areas have been rerouted, so a lot of that traffic issue is gone now. So if that was a concern for you, if you like going to downtown Perry and hanging out but you didn't like all the congestion, well, it's running a whole lot smoother now. So another question that a lot of my clients have are, in Perry, what are some of the areas to avoid? Well, honestly, there's really no areas to per se avoid. There's a couple areas that are run down, they're aged, and they need some refinishing. So if you're a real estate investor and you're looking to buy some properties to flip or to rent out and fix up, then these probably are going to be the areas that you want to look at. One area is the west side of Houston Lake Road coming into town around Jordan or Grant Avenue. Now, we've walked these streets a couple times because I do tax sales, and occasionally we go in there to look at houses that are on tax delinquent lists. Another area might be Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. On the west side of it, there's a couple areas in there that are a little run down and a little aged. So, but there again, I walked both of these areas, and even these areas I would not consider a place to avoid. But that's about as bad as you're going to get in Perry. It's really not bad at all in Perry overall. So unless your heart is really set on an active nightlife, or you're PCSing to Robins Air Force Base and you just really need to be close to the base, Perry, Georgia may not be for you in those cases, but otherwise, it's worth taking a look at Perry and see what they've got to offer. So give me a call and we'll get together and we'll do a little tour of Perry and see if it's a place that you want to make home. And I'll talk to you on the next one.